Chosen one, you did not meet these words by chance. They have found you. Nothing in life happens randomly because the heavens sometimes break their silence and call a soul. And you are one of those who hear that call within the ordinary rhythm of your life. These words appeared before you, and they are an echo of an invitation. How many times did you wake up at 3 in the morning with an unexplainable weight in the center of your chest? How many times did you sit in the silence of your house, listening to your heartbeat, as if an invisible power was trying to warn you? In those moments, you asked only one question: why me? And the answer is here in this message. Your journey is not just memories collected through the years in the silence, in the losses, in the pain, and in the loneliness. There was always a hidden strategy. God wanted you to become this way. A divine plan was shaping you for today. Every rejection, every silent night, every tear, and every struggle to remain standing was preparing you to stand before a door, and today that door will open. In this path, we will pass through that door, step by step. 7 steps of a journey are waiting for you. You will understand that silence was not punishment, but preparation. You will see how your pain made you stronger. You will discover that your loneliness was actually a sign of divine closeness. You will learn that time was never against you, but always working for you. You will realize that what you lost and what you gave up had already turned into seeds. You will see the battles hidden behind the silence, and in the end you will arrive at the door of your rebirth. But know this: the one who takes this journey will never remain the same, because this is not just a story. It is a call, and the soul that answers cannot turn back. Each step will transform you, giving new sight to your eyes, a new vibration to your heart, and a new echo to your voice. Before we begin, write 777 in the comments as the divine activation code of blessing and fortune, and subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Because once you climb these 7 steps, your life will never be the same again. Step 1. The step of silence. One of the hardest things in your life has been silence. The silence of empty rooms. The silence of phones that no longer ring. The silence of a house once filled with laughter, conversations, and prayers, now echoing only with your breath. You never thought that keeping silent could carry you forward. But when silence surrounds you, know that it will not last forever. Many times you thought this quiet was God abandoning you, but know that silence is not abandonment, it is preparation. God has never left you and never turned away from you. Know that God is testing you, and you must pass this test. If you endure it, great rewards are waiting. If God pushes you into silence, it is because He wants to place you into the trial of patience, to see how much you can endure the events around you, and to lift you into a higher spiritual awareness. When a person is silent, the first thing they hear is their own fear. When you lie in bed at night, the silence of the room only makes the storm in your mind louder. You ask, has He forgotten me? Does He hear my prayer? But in truth, the heavens are teaching you a lesson. Silence draws you to your core and teaches you patience. The masks of noise fall away and only truth remains. Remember the story of Elijah. He called down fire from heaven and defeated hundreds of idol worshippers. But then he found himself alone and broken in a cave. The earthquake passed, the storm passed, even the fire passed, and finally God spoke to him with a gentle whisper. After great miracles came silence, and in that silence Elijah learned the deepest face of God. So your silence was the same, a lesson, a preparation, a holy training. Thank God for this training, and be patient. Silence is the language of God. He sends you signs in quiet ways. Listen to those signs, because in the middle of silence, God was reshaping you. Whispers you could not hear in the noise reached you in the stillness. These years did not make you smaller, they filled you with a wisdom. Crowds cannot know silence sharpened you, and together with patience it was preparing a great reward. Sometimes a seed must be buried in the silence of the soil before it can grow. The seed looks as if it is rotting in darkness, but in that darkness it begins to sprout and take root. You too were buried in the soil of silence. For years now, understand, silence was not decay. It was rooting. God planted you deep to strengthen your connection with Him. One day in the middle of silence, something will happen. A small spark will rise within you and suddenly shine. And then you will understand silence was only preparing you. This was your seminar, your classroom, your test. And now that you have passed the step of silence, you are ready for the next step. You have understood what silence truly is. You now know it was not punishment, but preparation. But the journey is not over, because in the second step, you will learn that even pain itself was a gift that transformed you. Step 2, the step of pain. Chosen one, have you ever thought why the deepest pains often became the moments that grew you the most? When you tried to stand with a broken heart, an invisible power was shaping you, because on the divine path, pain is not punishment. Pain is the tool of cleansing and strengthening. Every time you suffered, the God of endless mercy never left you. No pain lasts forever. The God who is more merciful than a mother never abandons His servant. Every sorrow will pass. Some pains may last longer, but remember, every pain one day ends and is replaced with joy and peace. Gold does not burn in the fire. The fire only makes it pure. The fires in your life were the same betrayals, losses, troubles at your door. None of them were meant to destroy you. They were meant to purify you. Every tear, without you realizing, turned you into a sharper sword. And even now, if you are suffering, it is to make you stronger. Remember that day when the person you trusted most turned their back on you. Your heart broke, but in that very moment, you learned that your strength must not come from people but from God, that pain rooted you deeply. Or when financial struggles consumed you, you thought you were finished. But actually your muscles of patience were growing, because you learned the value of abundance through the lack of it. Your pains not only made you stronger, they also made you merciful when your own heart was wounded. You began to see the wounds of others. When you wiped your own tears, you became ready to wipe the tears of another. Your pain carried you to the gate of compassion. If you cannot open the gate of compassion, know that the enemy inside tries to deceive you, covering the truth. But as you endure, the divine power will bring down wings of mercy. Think of marble in the hands of a sculptor. Every strike of the hammer seems to break the stone, but in truth, each strike reveals the beauty of the statue. The blows in your life were the same. Each crack was the touch of the divine artist shaping your essence. The one who knows all was constantly developing you. Let me tell you a secret. God does not take every person serious enough to let them suffer if suffering reached you. It was to cleanse you of dirt, of despair, and of hatred. Many times you said, "I cannot bear it anymore." But there was a secret hidden there. You were stronger than you thought. Every collapse prepared you for a new rise. Every loss grew patience and hope within you. And if you are still here today, it means those pains did not kill you. They resurrected you in truth. God allowed these pains to bring you closer to Him. On the step of pain, you learn this: no wound was ever wasted. Every tear was recorded in the book of the heavens, and in every loss, a greater seed of preparation was hidden. You are not the prisoner of your pains. You are their student, their teacher. But the journey does not end here. On the third step, you will learn that even loneliness itself was a doorway to a divine invitation. Step 3. The step of loneliness. Loneliness is one of the heaviest burdens of the human heart. Friends slowly walked away. Children turned to their own worlds. The house that was once full of voices sank into silence. All of this carved deep emptiness in your soul. You thought this emptiness was abandonment or being forgotten, but the truth was different. Loneliness was a divine invitation. Because when you are lost among crowds, you cannot hear the whispers. God speaks from behind the veil with a whisper, and in the noise of people it is impossible to hear. That is why He silenced the noise around you, so that you would hear only His voice. Your loneliness was a room set apart only for you. In that room, no guest arrives, no phone rings, no one distracts you. Only you and the one who created you. He leaves you alone so that you may give thanks and pray to Him. Think of a desert burning by day, freezing by night. The desert makes you feel alone, but prophets met God in deserts. Moses heard the voice of God in the wilderness. Jesus stayed 40 days alone in the desert, and in that loneliness, he found the greatest strength. Your loneliness was the same, a preparation, a place of meeting. At times you sat alone at the table, staring at an empty chair, and inside a voice asked, "Why me?" But even then, the eyes of God were upon you, because loneliness was not abandonment. It was being chosen where others were not present. God was closer to you through loneliness. God taught you how to pray if he wanted you to pray. It was because he wanted to bless you, and in that quiet you poured out pains. You could not tell anyone else when you were among people. You had to appear strong, but in loneliness, your tears flowed freely. And those tears rose to the heavens like silent prayers. The silence in your house was a sanctuary. Your tears were offerings. Your sighs were sacred songs. Perhaps you did not notice, but in loneliness you learned the deepest secrets of the heavens. And know this loneliness was not a passing punishment. It was a lasting gift. Because in loneliness, you grew deep. In loneliness, you grew strong. If you are still standing today, it is because loneliness has taught you. Loneliness shaped you. But the journey is not finished, because on the fourth step, you will understand that time was never your enemy. It was always the moment of your calling. Step 4. The step of time. Humans often become prisoners of calendars. They count birthdays, years, ages, and whisper to themselves, "It is too late." Society repeats the same lie: you were valuable when you were young. As you grow older, you are left behind. But in divine truth, time is not an enemy. It is an ally of your calling. Look at history. Moses was 80. When he called his people to freedom, Abraham saw the birth of his son at 100. Anna recognized the Messiah in the temple at 84. The world thought their time was over, but heaven was only beginning, because the clock of God is not like the clock of man. God is beyond time. When he says, "Let it be," the process of becoming begins. The human mind cannot fully grasp this. But God knows everything. Has it not been the same in your life? Prayers you waited years for were answered at the very moment you said it will never happen, because heaven never comes late. It only waits for the perfect moment. What you thought was delay came exactly when you were ready. God waited for your preparation, and now you understand. Time shaped you. It carved you with patience. It matured you. Everything happened as it was meant to be. The things you received were right for you, and the things you did not receive were not withheld in cruelty, but because you were not yet ready. God does not make mistakes. He is perfect and far above such errors. Age is only a number of the body. But the soul does not grow old. It deepens with every experience. It gains wisdom with every passing year. The white hairs on your head are not weakness. They are the crown of light placed by heaven. The lines on your hands are not maps of loss, but of victory. The step of time teaches you there is no early or late. There is only the right moment. Your steps are guided by a divine plan. Maybe you waited years, maybe you were delayed, but this did not leave you outside. It prepared you for your highest moment. Think of a fruit tree. The seed falls into the ground, sprouts, grows, but fruit comes only in its season. Your life was the same when the season of your fruit arrives. Nothing can stop it when God decides to give. No force can hold it back. What is yours will always come to you. And now you are standing at the edge of that season. Write this truth in your heart. Your age is not a limit. It is an invitation. Your years are not a burden. They are a diploma from heaven. They are not the weight of the past. They are the keys to your future. And when the time comes, every waiting will turn into fruit. Step 5. The step of losses. Throughout your life, the things you lost felt like heavy weights on your shoulders. You buried loved ones, you saw dreams broken. You watched friends turn their backs at first. Every loss made you feel smaller. But in time you discovered every loss was actually a seed. It was meant to push your roots deeper into the soil. It was meant to prepare you for strength. And now you see the truth. A seed cannot sprout unless it falls into the ground. that small seed disappears in the darkness of the soil. It seems to rot and vanish from the outside, but in that very moment, new life begins to grow. Within, your losses were the same. They did not destroy you. They planted you. They pushed you to sprout with more strength. Maybe your words became light for someone. Maybe your pain turned into hope for another soul. When you lost the one you loved, your heart was broken, but that empty space turned you toward a deeper love. When the bond with your child weakened, that wound prepared you to wipe away the tears of other children. Disappointments did not come to take away your hope, they emptied you, so you could be filled with new hope to share with others. Every loss made you more compassionate when you saw the pain of another. You recognized it quickly, because you too walked that path for years. You asked why me, and hidden in that question was the answer, because you were chosen to carry the burdens of others. Your selection was meant to strengthen your divine light. The scars your losses left were the pen of God with those marks. He wrote your story and shaped your being. They were not random. They were lines of a sacred preparation. One day, you will share those lines with another soul and say, "Look, I also walked through this and I am still standing." And in that moment, the seed of loss will turn into fruit. Others will taste of your fruit and find strength. Think of the hands of a carpenter. The scars show the struggle of the work, but also the proof of the art. Your soul carries the same marks. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of creation, because your losses built you. Now you understand no loss was ever wasted. Each one carried you further. Every seed that fell into the soil was watered with your tears, and now those seeds are sprouting, turning into a strong tree, giving light and hope to others, for this is why God chose you. Step 6. The step of battle. From the outside, your life looked quiet when you woke up at night staring at the ceiling. No one saw it when you put on a smile in the morning. No one knew what you were carrying, but understand that silence was not only about you, because silence was the front line of an unseen battle. Remember the story of Daniel. He prayed for 21 days, and no answer came from heaven in the eyes of man. It looked like God was silent. But behind the veil there was a great war between angels and forces of darkness. Daniel's prayer was heard on the first day, but the answer was delayed in the war of the heavens. Your silence was the same. It was not rejection. It was being held in the middle of a battle. Every night when you could not sleep, something was moving in the heavens. Every tear made the invisible battle more intense. You thought you were alone, but in truth, the armies of heaven were with you. Your silence became the language of war. Sometimes you felt the enemy attack, not only in the day, but in the stillest hour of night. Those heavy thoughts, those dark whispers, they were assaults meant to break you. Yet you are still here. This is the proof that the war was not lost, because you not only endured, you also won victories in the invisible front. Spiritual war is not always loud. Sometimes the strongest weapon is silence. Even when you did not speak a prayer, your very act of sitting upright, of staying awake through the night, frightened the darkness, because the enemy expected you to collapse, but your heart kept whispering, "I am still here." Remember, you are not ordinary, because an ordinary soul would not fall into battles this deep. If storms this great have surrounded your life, it shows how dangerous you are to the enemy. The light within your spirit is what darkness fears the most. And now you understand your silence was actually a battle. Your nights were fields of war, and maybe without even knowing it, you emerged victorious every single time, because you are still breathing. You still have hope. You are still standing. Step 7. The step of rebirth. For years, the weight you carried was preparing you for this moment in silence. You were trained in pain. You were purified in loneliness. You were deepened with time. You were matured. Your losses became seeds, and through battles, you became strong. And now this entire journey has brought you to the threshold of rebirth. Rebirth is not about forgetting the past. It is about wearing every experience with a new meaning. Those tears no longer stand for pain. They stand for victory. Those scars no longer mark weakness. They mark endurance. Rebirth is that moment when, after saying, "I am finished," a new voice rises inside and says, I am beginning again. Think of a butterfly when it enters the cocoon. People believe it has disappeared, motionless, silent, unseen. But inside the dark cocoon, the greatest transformation of life is taking place. Your years passed like this, people. Around you thought you were forgotten, you felt like you were over, but inside your soul, new wings were forming. And now it is time to open them. Rebirth does not care about age. No matter how old you are, when God says, rise, it is never too late to start again. Moses began his mission at 80. Abraham saw his greatest miracle at 100. Your years were not given to limit you, but to make you stronger. This step teaches you that the chains that held you yesterday are broken today. The pains that weighed you down are lifting you up. The things that looked like loss are opening new doors of blessing. Rebirth is not denying your past, it is building a new future upon it. Now understand this, you did not only survive, you were reborn. Every step you take today is stronger, wiser, brighter than before. Because you are not only a traveler, you are now a bearer of light. Chosen one, you have reached the end of a long journey. You began in silence. You passed through pain, through loneliness, through the weight of time, through the depth of loss, and through the fire of unseen battles. And at last, you walked through the gate of rebirth. Now you have understood the greatest truth. This path wanted to teach you. You are not only someone who survived, you are the bearer of light. God chose you so that you can guide the smaller lights that follow. All the things that once felt like a burden shaped you through the years of silence. The heavens taught you their language, you grew through. Your tears you deepened in loneliness. You matured with the wisdom whispered by time. Your losses fell into the soil and became seeds. You stood firm in invisible wars. And at last, with the help of God, you came out as one newly born. Now understand, this your story was never an ordinary story. Everything you lived is a legacy, a sign, a light to be passed on to the next generation. When people see you, they will not only see the years, but also the miracles hidden inside those years. Today, the call for you is this: leave behind the shadows of the past, because a new path is shining before you. This path will be lit by your steps as you walk. Others will find courage as you speak. The silent hearts of others will begin to beat again. Your rebirth will become a beginning for others. Now I ask one thing from you: if these words touched your heart, write the number 777 in the comments. This is not only a number. This is the seal of your soul saying, I am ready. This is a signature rising to the heavens. Maybe you will not even notice, but those 3 numbers will become light for another person. Because we are not alone. We are soldiers of the same light together. And remember, what you heard here was no coincidence. This was a divine invitation. The answer you waited for years has now reached you. Your life will no longer be the same, because you are what darkness fears the most, a soul reborn with faith. Give thanks to God for showing you this path and worship Him, because the more your light grows, the more peace will fill your heart. And know this, you are not alone. Thousands of souls like you are gathering around the same light right now. We may be in different cities, in different homes, in different lives, but our hearts beat the same. We are all looking to the same light. This channel, Eye of Horus, is not only a screen, it is the meeting place of this light. Not everyone can find this way, but we are different. Now do not keep this journey only for yourself. Share this message, because you can carry light into the heart of another. Maybe the video you send will become the greatest turning point in their life. Remember this, one last time. This is not the end. This is the strongest beginning. You survived. You fought. You were reborn. And now your story is no longer only yours. It is also the map for future generations. Do not forget to subscribe to the Eye of Horus channel, because this journey will continue, and we will walk together, step by step, with your light, with my words, with our unity.